The Chicago Bulls are forced into an impossible decision with Josh Giddey. Of course, Josh Giddey is a restricted free agent going into this year's offseason. And after his impressive play after the All-Star break and with high praise coming from the front office, we get to see how the Chicago Bulls have forced themselves into this impossible decision. Hello, my name is Isaias Jackson Jr. Thank you guys so much for tuning into Bulls Digest. We're going to get into all the news and notes on how the Chicago Bulls have forced themselves into this impossible decision, and if we could potentially see Josh Giddey in a Chicago Bulls jersey for years to come. However, 67.5% of you guys are subscribed. 32.5% of you guys are. We appreciate you guys on both fields. And look, I'm going to be honest with you guys. When I first clicked subscribe, when I first hit the subscribe button, until when I was subscribed to Bulls Digest, the sun was so much brighter. My back felt better. The food tasted a whole lot better. I don't know. It was just something about that day when I hit the subscribe button. All my problems just went away. And I'm hoping you feel the same way once you hit that subscribe button. And we appreciate you for tuning in to Bulls Digest as well. Chicago Bulls predicted to make big Josh Giddey decision. Chicago Bulls guard Josh Giddey will be a restricted free agent this offseason. And after the All-Star break, Giddey averaged 21 points, 10 rebounds, and 9 assists on 50, 46, and 81% shooting from the field. Once the season ended, Chicago Bulls executive Arturas Karnisovas revealed his plans for Giddey. I think he fits really well here, Bulls executive said, and I hope to see him here for the next years to come. I really feel good about Josh and his future here. So you gotta love to hear that. I felt like the huge consensus for the last video in the comment section was to keep Josh Giddey, was to retain Josh Giddey. The last time we talked about his contract and what was going on with the Chicago Bulls, and potentially wanting to see him back. And of course, we all love to hold on to a point guard that we would love to see for the long term. And I believe Josh Giddey is that guy. And I believe a lot of Bulls fans agree with that as well. With Karnisovas' statement in mind, Zach Buckley from Bleacher Report believes that the Chicago Bulls will give Giddey a massive 5-year deal. The Chicago Bulls can lean on their leverage and let Giddey test the market, knowing that they have the power to match whatever offer he finds from the new team, with from the few teams with cap space to spare. But knowing this front office, the same one that gave Patrick Williams a 5-year $90 million deal last summer, and is particularly affinity for Giddey, Chicago seems less likely to take that route, Buckley said. And yes, I don't see the Chicago Bulls taking that route either. It's telling Josh Giddey to go out and see what he can get and test the market, see his value. And I seen something similar like that with the Phoenix Suns and DeAndre Ayton. I covered the Phoenix Suns for 3 years, and the Phoenix Suns and DeAndre Ayton was in contract negotiations, and DeAndre Ayton wanted the rookie max extension. Phoenix Suns wasn't going to give that to him. Felt like he wasn't playing up to par. They said, go out there and find you the best offer you can, and we can see if we can match it. He found a 5-year, $133 million deal with the Pacers, and they went on and matched it right there. I think Josh Giddey has overperformed with the Chicago Bulls. Of course, got off to a slow start early on, and now you're seeing the great work that he's put in throughout the season. An amazing facilitator. He can be a really, really solid rebounder at the point guard position as well. So I feel like that's huge. He's all over the place. He's everywhere on that court. And I even talked about him being potentially a two-way for years to come. Now, is that going to happen now? No, of course not. But for years to come, as Josh Giddey is working on his game, he could be an amazing two-way player. And just looking at his stats right here, and that just depends on how the dedication he takes to his game, towards the defensive effort. Now, we could see it, we possibly can't. Now, as an offensive threat, that's definitely happening. We're definitely going to be seeing and calling Josh Giddey an offensive threat for years to come. Right now, looking at his season stats for this year, 14.6 points per game, 8.1 rebounds, 7.2 assists, 0.6 blocks per game, 1.2 steals. Of course, coming up on 3 turnovers, coming up on 2 fouls per game, shooting 46% from the field and 37% from field goal range. So Josh Giddey, just was absolutely electric after the All-Star break. Highly entertaining. Him and Kobe White, of course, being the 1-2 punch that you love to see from the Chicago Bulls. You have to lock this man up if you are Chicago. If you want somebody that's going to come in and be your point guard for the future, of course, Josh Giddey is going to be your guy. obviously. So, of course, with the 5 year deal for Giddy, might seem a little bit too much. The franchise doesn't really have too much going for them, as you can tell with the Chicago Bulls. Still trying, as we've been in real rebuild mode for the last, 5 years, as we talked about, as they tried to bring on some help with Zach Lavine with DeMar DeRozan. Of course, that didn't work. You trade DeMar DeRozan. You had to get rid of Zach Lavine eventually. You do. Now it's just time for Vucevic, to get the boot. As we heard from his comments before, it's definitely happening pretty soon. Josh Giddey being 22 years old, locking him in till he's 27 in his prime, and then seeing, of course, what he is value then, I think is a perfect step in the right direction for the Chicago Bulls. Right now, I think you have no choice in this situation to go up there and scoop Josh Giddey for the max deal, for his a maximum 5 year deal. You got to give it to the man, 22 years old, and of course he is electric as he is. His progression on the court has only gotten better. As we talked about, new change of scenery when he came on to the Chicago Bulls, struggled a little bit, and now you see the progression. Now you're seeing the work getting put on. Now you also have to think of the flip side. Kobe White, he's going to be knocking at the door. He's going to be wanting a whole lot more money too. And if Josh Giddey's getting paid, Kobe White is going to be looking at that contract too, seeing how much Josh Giddey is getting paid as well, seeing, of course, what he does next season as well. Both guys, Kobe White is going to be asking for a whole lot as well. So, of course, you have that to look at. But right now, I think your best bet is to lock in your point guard for the future, which is Josh Giddey. You have no choice here in this situation. And even with AK coming out and saying he really, really likes Josh Giddey, he wants to see him for many years to come, I think that's a perfect sign in the right direction there that you're going to lock him in for the long haul. I don't think you're going to sell somebody like Josh Giddey short. As we talked about, we put him up there with the likes of Jalen Suggs, out there with the Orlando Magic, and out there with the Atlanta Hawks, Jalen Johnson as well. These are top stars, top rookie stars, top youngsters in the NBA right now. Of course, that are going to get paid really soon. Josh Giddey is up there as well. I do think Josh Giddey is owed that amount of money, and the Bulls have no choice and have put themselves in this situation. Once you brought him in, once you thought to rebuild for the future, this man is the future. Kobe White is the future. I think you have to pay him what's owed and see what he's going to do in this as going forward, because with Patrick Williams, we're wishy-washy on Patrick Williams to begin with. I don't think we're wishy-washy on Josh Giddey here in this situation. On great days, he's a walking triple-double when you need him to be. Patrick Williams, he was giving you 10 points before you gave him the $90 million, that 5 year, $90 million deal. You gave it to him, nothing really changed. There was no progression there. With Josh Giddey, I do think there's a lot you can work with. His ceiling is really, really high. The Chicago Bulls got to pay him in this situation. But what do you think the Chicago Bulls are going to do here? Do you think the Chicago Bulls are forced into this impossible decision and going to keep Josh Giddey for the 5 year deal, to give him this massive amount of money and this massive deal? Do you believe Josh Giddey is the point guard for the future, or are you not ready to believe in Josh Giddey just yet? Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I'll see you guys next time.